Are live. We're live. Hi. All right, can we start sharing this?
Yes, ma'am.
We are
Waiting on it to
live.
kick in.
Hey, from Black Money Matters.
Special
I'm
episode.
This is a
waiting.
special episode. I'm excited about this episode. Let me turn this down because I'm sharing this.
Okay.
This is a special episode, a special edition of Black Money Matters. I'm Karen Weaver. I'm here with
Jameca Patrick.
And I'm excited today because we have as our special edition special guest, the president of the Flint Board of Education, Michael
Mr.
Clack.
President.
And congratulations.
I'm just playing on Mike.
I know it, but congratulations because that's important.
Thank you.
It's important.
It is.
And
It is. And I mean, and you say you might, and that's good because that humble spirit
That's me.
is gonna serve you well throughout your tenure as the president.
Right. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
But you know what? And I'm glad you wanted to come on. Thank you. Thank you for coming on
Thank you for
today. And you know what? It was interesting because I had been talking to some people. And so I just want to start by saying this because this is Black Money Matters. And one of the things we talked about when we put this, you remember, Jameca, we were sitting around the table talking about what underlies so many things that are important in our lives is economic empowerment and economic opportunity. And thank you. And one of the things we know is it has implications as far as the education you get or do not get,
Right.
the access to resources you get or do not get based on economic empowerment and opportunity. Whether we're talking, it's tied to, we talked about health outcomes, housing, all of those things. So that's why we're having this kind of conversation on this show.
Education is the cheat code. It's the
Tell
cheat
us,
code.
Jameca.
Because no matter what we do in life, whether we have to be educated to be successful. And I mean, that doesn't always mean formal education, but you have to know what you're doing. You have to know what you're talking about, regardless of what your role is or what profession that you choose. And so it's important that we give our kids the best start possible. It's really important that whether they choose to go to college, whether they choose to, start a business straight out of high school or during high school, whether they choose trade school or entering into one of the skills trades, it's very important that if we're talking about Black money and Black economic development, that we're doing our part to make sure that we have that Black money and Black groundwork, that background.
Well, and I'll tell you something else before we just jump into, because we've got some questions
I
for
figured
you.
you did. Yes, ma'am.
But the other thing that's important is I know one of the things I always talked about when I was mayor is a successful, thriving city needs a successful, thriving school district, and vice versa. The school needs that kind of thing as well, because they're so intertwined, and you can't have one without the other. And so I just think that's really, really important. And so here we are. And there's a lot going on with our schools. I mean, there's a lot going on. And, I guess where do you start? I mean, I know I have some questions, but I don't know if you want to get started or if
Ask
there's.
away.
So let's start with just being this role. What made you choose to run for the school board?
Well, I saw that there was a need, and I know that I have the drive and the love for the city, the love for the students, and plus I'm a product of the Flint Community Schools. I've worked.
You know what? We all are.
Yeah, all of us are.
We all are.
Wait, let's put this out here. What school?
The only one that's still open.
Uh-huh.
No.
Said it proudly with my chest.
Nope.
Said it proudly. Southwestern.
My! This is going down that fast.
Real fast.
I just had to put that out there.
Yeah. Okay.
Because
Okay.
y'all know this is Wildcat Nation.
I'm a knight, not a jaguar, not a colt,
No.
not a Viking.
No. But here's what's good is whether our school is open or closed, we've got some pride.
Right.
Some
got some
pride.
Some
And we will have conversations and debates all day
All day.
about our school.
Yep.
I mean, it's all in good fun. It's all in love, but we stand proud about our Flint
Yes, we
community
do.
school.
Yes, we do. We can talk about each other's school all day long, but nobody
else
Nobody
can.
else.
They
can say
they
nothing about it.
better not.
So yeah. that's
So
exactly what it is.
now here we are with the president.
Okay.
And you know, it's funny because there's a lot of money that has come in to the school district.
Mhm.
That could be a very good thing. We need some money.
Mhm.
Have you all, what's going on with that? And then I do have another question.
Okay. Well, I'm assuming you're referring to the ESSER fund.
I am referring to the ESSER
Mhm.
funds.
Okay.
Yes.
What
And
are
tell
the
us what
ESSER
that
funds?
means.
Okay. Well, I have it pulled up here because I assumed that was going to be a question, and there was a couple things that I would like to get out
Okay.
about concerning these ESSER funds. But ESSER is an acronym that stands for Elementary and Secondary Emergency Relief Fund.
Okay.
And so there are specific programs or specific ways in which the money can be delegated. You know, it's government funding, so there's specific ways that you have to spend it, certain guidelines that you have to reach, and even when applying for those or receiving those funds, when you want to use them, you can't just go out and write a check and put it in ESSER, and say ESSER funds is going to pay for it. There's certain things and certain programs that are on the list, or a checklist, or so to speak, that you have to reach in order to receive those funds.
So what's an example of something that we could use those funds for?
I think one of the biggest things would be school rehabilitation.
Oh, we need that because I'm a proud
Yeah.
Wildcat, but that ceiling was leaking every time it rained back then.
Right. So the one thing, unfortunately, that we cannot use ESSER funds for is to build a new school.
You can't build a new
We
school,
cannot
but you
build a
can
new
fix.
school, but we can fix the existing schools that we have.
Okay, so let me ask this, because is there a list of schools that are fixable?
We do have a list. There's a list. There's a couple of lists,
Mm-hmm.
but some of the schools, there are certain organizations or entities that have bid on these different schools. Some of which can be fixable, some of which are, not really.
So people are bidding on the schools?
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. How does that go?
That's a process that I'm new to, but we've got a law firm that
Okay.
handles those bids. Not sure if I'm at liberty to give the name of the firm.
No, that's fine.
Okay, but yeah, there's a law firm that handles that for us.
Okay. Okay.
So, but the ESSER funds, you guys, like if somebody bid on the building, you guys wouldn't give them the money, right? Is this the money is for like you talk about Southwestern being the only school open, high school open right now. So, so you guys would be able to use ESSER funds to bring that building up to code and make repairs so that the kids are comfortable.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Some of the other things that I know the ESSER funds can be used for is like say laptops. What is it? The HVAC systems. The just things that help the schools run efficiently. So there's a number of programs or a number of different ways that they can be used. And I just want to set the record straight about something that has happened recently, is that we have had some misinformation to go out about these funds when it comes to the school district.
Well, clear it up.
Funds.
Clear it up,
So
because
I was
misinformation can be dangerous.
Right. No, it definitely can be dangerous, especially when you've got people coming down to meetings requesting money for specific programs. And as far as I can see, I have not seen anything in the definition of ESSER funds or roles that can be played or moves that can be made with these funds that would say you can start a program. Now, I could be wrong because I'm new to this position and I'm new to the board, but from my understanding, that's not what it was for.
Okay.
Now, there are some programs that could possibly fit into those specific guidelines, but just to go out and have, so to speak, your friends come down and make up a program and say that I've got this going on, can you give me some money for it? That's not what it's for.
You guys got all this money.
Yeah,
so.
That's not exactly what it's not for. That these are not ARPA funds for if they come to the city. That's not what it's for. These funds are specifically for.
Well, they haven't
elementary
got ARPA funds either.
Right. They haven't been.
But that's a different program.
That's a different story. But these are specifically for elementary and secondary education emergency relief.
Okay.
And thank you for clearing that up, because like Mayor was saying, misinformation out here can be dangerous. People are all upset about And then we have to follow the rules.
Right.
We have to follow
Right.
the
And
rules.
And I'm not going to jail. for
We'll
nobody.
run with the wrong
I'm
story.
Right.
I'm not mad at you.
Right. I'm not going to jail. I'm not, this as far as, what I can tell you is that my promise is, as long as I'm on this board, as long as I'm with the gavel, it'll be run correctly, it'll be run ethically and lawfully, because I'm not going to jail. I'm going to say that again.
I'm not mad at you. Can I ask you something it's been a little bit of controversy that I've been seeing on social media. Actually, I watch 10 news media,
Okay.
and so I was watching one of the other podcasts, went to saw a show, and she was talking about the clear book bags.
Oh, okay.
So can you tell us what's going on with, are the students going to get clear book bags? Are there clear book bags in the schools that are being sent back? What's happening with the school? And then proud grad of Flint Northwestern.
If you say Northwestern,
I'm plugging my school. Proud grad of U of M and MSU, and watching what happened at MSU and what's happened across our country. Gun safety in schools is extremely important, and it's on the forefront of everybody's mind,
Right.
as it should be. And so that I think was really pushing this story about those book bags.
Right. The light that I could share is that the bags were at the schools.
the clear bags are already there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm not exactly sure who purchased the bags or who authorized the purchase of the bags. But as I found out, it's just like everyone else found out at the last meeting, that the bags were, there were 3,000 bags for every scholar in the district. And the total for those bags was $36,000.
So why is it a controversy? What's the controversy?
Well, the first thing was anything over $5,000 has to be voted on by the board.
Okay.
So that's the first controversy.
Okay.
The second thing is, and with all due respect, I'm speaking for Michael Clack, not
Okay.
on behalf of the district right now.
Okay.
I think that the book bag thing was more of a. I just think that people made it a bigger deal than what it could be, and I think that there are bigger fish to fry.
So
in the district
when you say people made it a bigger deal, are you talking about students' parents or the board in general?
The board in general.
So, okay,
Go
can I
ahead.
ask, because one of the things we talk about all the time, all throughout the city, and it doesn't matter which elected, public meeting you're at. We've talked about, we hear about unity.
Of course.
And so you're saying that this is an issue right now, as far as, but there had to be some unity there because you got the votes to be president.
Well.
Yes.
Well.
Okay.
Wow, y'all ain't playing today, are you?
The people want to know.
Inquiring minds.
Okay, so. Oh wow. Okay, well, it's already out there because you know who voted for me and who nominated me to be in this position. So I ran on a slate with a certain group of people.
Correct.
Which they supported another board member, which, we all ran together. But I was nominated by a different group of board members, and I was voted to be where I am by a different group of board members.
Mm-hmm.
And how can I say this? I believe their plan was to try to control me, and as you know, if the president gets voted out, the person who walks right into the presidency would be the vice president. So what happened was I was supposed to support another board member instead of who I supported for vice president. So I didn't go that specific direction. I went in another direction, as you know who the vice president is.
Who is it? I don't know.
His name is Teray King.
Oh, okay.
Very bright.
I know who it is, but I just,
You know, Teray.
Oh yeah, I know who Teray is.
Very, 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 very bright, very bright. he shocks me a lot with some of the stuff that he knows, some of the knowledge that he brings, and him being 21 years old.
He's a student too,
He
right?
is a student. Yeah, he is a student. He actually is a manager at one of the. I didn't want to put it out there, but he's one of the youngest, or if not the youngest.
Right.
So he's very bright. And the way I saw it is Teray is our future, regardless of whatever happens. We don't agree on everything.
Okay.
But Teray is, like I said, he's smart as a whip. And again, he's the future. So what I thought was, why not let this young man go ahead and get this experience as he wanted to be the VP. That's what he wanted. And who am I to stand in his way? You know what I mean? So I appreciate Teray a lot. He calms. Sometimes I can get a little bit fly off the radar with some things, and Teray is like one of those people that can like kind of hold you down and kind of keep you calm. And not saying that Dylan and Mel and Claudia or Laura or Dr. Joyce can't, but it's just from working closely with these people over the past couple of weeks, I've seen that I've been with Teray. We ran together since the summertime.
Okay.
So you start to get to know people, and you start to see their tendencies and what their strengths and I don't like to say weaknesses. I like to say powers and superpowers.
Right.
So you start to see certain things, and you build up a trust, and with that trust, that's how we go.
So can there be? Do you think there will be unity?
My hope, my dream is that there will be unity across the board, but that's thinking very optimistically.
Yeah, but people always look to who is at the head.
Right.
To bring that. And sometimes, that comes with it, but you do need the others to help with that.
Right. Me, I can just, I can speak for me. People might see another me when I get on the stage, but me, I try to be fair. I try to be impartial to everyone. Everyone has a voice. Everyone has concerns. Everyone has things that's on that board that need to be addressed. And I understand that. But when there's foolishness that goes on behind the scenes, it kind of turns you off to certain things. It's hard for me when there are people that have been on the board and that are, my senior to my age. It's hard for me to kind of say you're not on track right now to somebody who's old enough to be my mom or something like that. So because I would never say anything like that to my mom. You know what I mean? But then again, some of the things that I'm being confronted with, my mom would never do. You know what I mean? So it's a difficult situation that I'm in. But of course, like I told y'all when I first was voted on the board, I'm not gonna let you down.
Right.
I don't plan to. And now that I got the hammer or the gavel, so to speak,
right.
I'm in a position, and I realize that we can help move this district in a positive direction.
We have to. Because really, at the end of the day, it's about the kids.
That's exactly what it's about. And if you've noticed, there weren't children, scholars, kids, juvenile, delinquent, any of those different words were never said too much by the last board. It was always board concerns. It was always personal agendas. It was always, this is going on, this is going on, this is going on, and not what any of this, how are these kids going to benefit from this? You know what I mean? And that's another one of the reasons, but I'm like, wait a minute now, who's advocating for the 3,000 students that we have?
That was one of my questions. We have 3,000?
There's a little less than 3,000.
Wow. That's just, that's kind of mind-boggling to
me.
Because
I'm just like, man.
Right. Because I think about when I was there, which was, don't you all say anything?
I won't.
It was a little while ago, just a little, but it was 45,000+ students back then.
Of course.
And so when I hear that, that's hard for me to just wrap my head around, but that's where we are. And so how do we make the most for these students?
Here's my dream.
Let's hear your dream.
This is my thing, and I can only speak for me. Again, there was 11,000 people that put me here. So, I speak on their behalf. I speak on behalf of those 3,000 kids, 2,900 and however many kids that are in this district. I would like to see certain things done. I have a vision for Flint. When I graduated high school, there were 276 kids in my graduating class. There was 400 and something at Central. The Northern had 3 something, and Northwestern had 2 and some change. Again, that was 20 some odd years ago, 25 years ago. I graduated in 98. In 25 years, we've gone down to 1 high school, one public high school,
Right.
and I think they graduated 76 or 77 kids last year.
Wow.
Now, my dream,
Wow.
right? My dream is to bring back all of the early childhood programs. You know, and to me, this is just me. To me, I think that if we bring back early childhood,
Oh no, go ahead.
okay. If we bring back those programs, all of those programs, then that would help promote early, like student growth, residual growth. That meaning, if we get kids in here at 4, 5, 6 years old, and they stay till this, you know, first grade, second grade, third grade, they're more than likely able, you know, gonna stay from, you know, junior and senior high school if we have the resources to support them.
And I was looking because I was looking to see, I saw where Dylan Luna, who is the he's on the board.
Dylan Luna is the treasurer.
The treasurer. He said there are 15,000 students live in the city and 3,000 attend the district.
Right.
Are there plans, or I mean, do you all ever talk about how do we get some of those kids back in the Flint schools?
Again, from we're still working, you know,
Okay.
and again, I don't want to make the excuse or put the narrative out that we making excuses, but we're 2 months in. And again, I think that early childhood would be a start. You know,
That's a great start.
So, in early childhood, if you look at what's happened to child care in this country as a result of COVID and other things, you have a large percentage of the workforce not able to return because of child care issues. You have a decrease in the number of child care providers that we have. We're in a child care crisis to the point that the White House addressed it or attempted to address it in the ARPA proposals. They wrote child care right in the ARPA proposals, in the ARPA regulations. And so early childhood programs, those early education programs for kids is helpful to the kids, to the school district, to the parents, to the community. That's like a win-win.
Again, one thing that I say is we're, you know, people in Flint, poor people, black people, however you want to call it, we're being portrayed as lazy people. You know, well, if you don't have 2 parents in the household that one can go to work and one can watch the kids, or school-age kids that can just go to school for first grade and be there all day long. If you have a choice between, I got to make sure my kid has my child has somewhere to go that's safe during the day, then sometimes you have to stay at home. You know what I mean? I understand that. I understand there's a population that's not that doesn't have the resources that they, you know, everybody didn't go to high school. Didn't finish high school and didn't go to college, and you know. And they're still residents of Flint, you know what I mean? And again, they have their it's only right to make sure that they have a voice and their kids have somewhere to go.
And so we're talking, because you brought up early childhood, and we know how important early childhood is, especially when you think about young kids and developing brains and where you get such a big bang, you know, a big impact. I remember, it just seems like we don't even have early childhood. It seems to all be with the ISD.
With the ISD.
And I remember when I went to Educare, I remember when I went there and I said, this is just a beautiful facility. It's wonderful. Why is this not part of the Flint school system? I mean, why are these things, and they were being taken out because I was over school-based services when I was at my children's. And you saw it happening back then. And I left there in 2010. And it was happening before then. And it's continued that things seem to get taken from the Flint school district. However, grants are written that would always include Flint. They'd include Beecher, so they could get the funds, because that's where the population was that was supposed to benefit from those funds, economic opportunity.
Title I district.
But it always went outside. So does that come up with you all? Do you all talk about that?
We do.
Okay.
We do. And one of my first steps is to attempt to go and get our early childhood programs back.
Good.
You know what I mean? Like that is we've heard I think the director, I can't remember her name. I want to say it's Ms. Wilson. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. Please don't quote me on that. But I think that's her name. And she came and addressed the board, and she said that she has 40 scholars in her program. She has the capability of hosting 125. Well, what's the problem? Why can we not? That's 85 kids that could possibly be enrolled and stay with the district. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I think that we need to, aggressively get the ball rolling in every way we can to try to recruit kids back into the district.
Mhm.
And I hate that, what I'm about to say is, I don't want to be disrespectful to any other districts. But Davidson won a state championship. Grand Blanc almost won a state championship. Now, a lot of those kids were our kids.
Right.
A lot of those kids were Flint kids that left because they didn't trust, for one, the district, the board, the athletic programs, because that's, we don't have state-of-the-art facilities like a Davidson or a Grand Blanc or schools like that. Even Hamity now, even Hamity, with it being right around the corner, they are willingly accepting our kids, and they've got a brand new football field, brand new stadium, brand new track.
They make it attractive for kids and parents to, for parents to want their children to go there.
Yes. So
and they make a great learning environment.
Yeah.
And we need to be,
even Saginaw, even our rivals 30 miles up north have even, gotten their act together. But not even with the schools, but with their ARPA funds as well. You know what I mean? So, so we don't have the luxury of wasting time.
No.
We don't have the luxury of
because we continue to lose our young people to other places.
So, that's just where we are.
What would be helpful?
I'm just floored.
About what part, Jameca? There's a lot.
About 70 something kids graduating in the class.
And
about just all of this, like our kids. I mean, I knew our kids were going other places.
But when you see those numbers, it hits you.
Oh yeah.
It hits you.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So how can we help? How can
right.
The community
That's what.
help?
Right.
Here's my thing is, I think that parent involvement needs to be, a light that needs to be shed on. Parent involvement is critical, because the kids, they don't do anything on their own for the most part. The students, rather, they don't. The parents buy their clothes. They take them to school, whether you take them to the bus stop or however, pick them up, however. So I believe that if we are able to reach out to parents, if we get parents involved, then the students have no choice but to follow. You know what I mean? So,
okay, Dylan, I'm glad you're giving some information. Yeah, he said that 75% of the students at Hamity are Flint residents. And you know what, it's funny, because remember we were having this conversation, and this guy kept talking to us about Flint. And when we said, okay, now where is it? He said Hamity. And we're like, but that's not Flint. But you have Flint kids here.
And we know that.
Right.
But the school isn't.
And what we had was, this was when we were at the city. It was Flint. And for them to keep saying Hamity was Flint. I mean, it's. Ooh.
And we understand, because 75% of the
That's
kids
right.
are Flint kids. Right. So you have our kids are supporting other schools to keep their doors open. In the meantime, we're struggling. We're down to one high school. We're down, we're graduating 75 kids.
I know, and I keep thinking about when I graduated, it was 600 in my class.
Remember, every weekend,
every
weekend that month.
Well, see, you haven't even touched on the test scores, the ELA and the reading and the math scores. You haven't even touched on the reading levels. We haven't even
talked about it. Tell us.
I don't have statistics direct statistics here in front of me, and even if I did, I wouldn't want to go directly.
But think about this. We had poison water.
Of course.
And they want to base everything on third grade reading scores. What do you think our kids are going to do? I mean, we
have job security.
Yeah.
Is what I tell my students.
Yeah.
Because it's one, and I know that I shouldn't say that like that, but what it is there's a lot that goes against, a lot of influences that are pulling against the nuclear family, for one. A lot of influence that are going against raising a healthy child. And what I mean by that is, a lot of parents would rather be a friend than a parent. A lot of parents would rather not upset their child when it comes to, raising them, and instead of telling, putting their foot down and drawing a line in the sand and saying, this is what I do not accept and I'm not going to tolerate this. And I, it's a fine line to tell a parent, you need to do better as a parent, or you parent badly, or whatever you want to say. It's hard to tell somebody that, but when you have kids that are getting suspended out of school for all different types of reasons, you got to start somewhere. And to me, the first teachers are the parents. Before you bring a student into any facility, the first person, whatever it be, a good habit, a bad habit, a terrible habit, the first person who teaches the first things, the habits, or whatever, they're picked up by the parent. So we have to have strong, responsible parents that are raising strong, responsible students.
Right.
And that's one of the biggest hangups right now. And Flint, don't get upset with me when I say that, but I've been working, teaching and working in the school district for a long time. This is my 19th year, and I've seen a lot. The last I checked, there was 137 of my former students that are locked in jail, and 42 that are dead and gone.
I mean, that's staggering.
In 19 years. So, in a way, you can't really get close to them, but you can't help it because a lot of them don't have a caring father figure in the house or even around them that they see on a regular basis that they can relate to or that's willing to listen to them.
But the schools used to be different. We grew up and they were community schools. It was community
everybody
education.
based their educational programs after Flint.
Right. And so parents had support and they had help because I knew my kid was safe. I knew there was a program after school that my child could participate in. And, you don't see some of those kinds of things. And you have to be kind of welcoming to the parents to get that relationship so you can find out ways to support them as well. But, when I think about the things that we don't have to help families be strong and resilient and give them some of the things. I mean, and the school can't do everything.
No, they can't. The school can only do what they can do. Now, what I do plan to, what I want to say is that we plan, all of us, we plan to be held accountable for our actions and the actions of the district. And I want to put that out there. If you have something that you would like to address to the district or to the board members, come down to our meetings.
When are the meetings? Tell us.
The second and third Wednesday of the month, 6:30 at Accelerated Learning Academy. Please come down.
Is that Scott School?
Yeah, Scott School to the old folks. Scott, I mean, not to the old folks.
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry, Dr. Weaver. I know it as Scott School, but I can't. I wasn't saying.
Call your mama.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
I
say Scott School.
That's okay.
I say Scott School.
Yeah, no, he doesn't. He says Accelerated Learning.
No,
Academy.
I say Scott School. But,
that's okay. I'm gonna take it.
No, but I didn't mean any disrespect.
We're kidding.
Okay.
Because that's our goal. Is to get to grow.
Right. Right.
Yes.
But Scott School, aka ALA.
And that's for you young folk.
For the young folk.
But really, we're all in it together.
So
Go
you're
ahead, Jameca.
inviting people to come to the board meeting to
6:30?
express their concerns, to talk about,
Yeah, and parents, students, whatever it is, we're hearing, we knew, well, actually, some of the things that I would like to see done are parking lots at a lot of these schools.
Oh yeah, because they are raggedy.
Yeah, I would like to see some of these buildings knocked down. We're starting with Washington School. We approved that last week or a week before last. The way I see it is that Flint Community Schools is the city's largest slumlord.
Wow.
Okay, and that's a tough pill to swallow. That's a tough pill to swallow. But between Flint Community Schools and the Land Bank, and and you know what I mean, like who has more blight? Who the city?
I don't know because I look at those schools over there by where I stay, and it's graffiti and people dump over there, and it's just
urban explorers.
Right. No, they funny. They be all
that's
like
so funny. Yeah,
Central,
they be
and
I'm like urban explorers.
Longfellow.
You
It's
breaking
just
and entering.
Yeah, but y'all got some brave to be going up in them schools.
All
One
right.
time I was watching them when they went in Longfellow, and they walked up on somebody in their sleep.
Wow. Well, people have said maybe some of these empty schools could be turned into housing.
That was another one of the things that I would like to see. I would like to see there's a large homeless population.
There's a homeless population. We have vets. I mean, there's a need for that. But are we getting any new schools? Inquiring minds want to know.
Okay. As far as the new schools go, what we did vote on was to begin planning or to start talks with the Vermont Foundation. We have not agreed to start, a partners or planning or how should I say, a contract has not been drawn up or anything like that. We just are, I guess, to start talks.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So and I'm not even sure if Mr. Jones has started that process yet. But we do need new facilities.
We do. If we want to keep people and bring people back, we have to have,
of course,
those kinds of things.
So we, the new board, we're working very hard and very diligently to move in the right direction, to move the district in the right direction. There is a little bit of drawback, we do have, and again, everyone doesn't agree. It's in being a human being and being an elected official, that's one of the things. Ain't nobody ever gonna agree with 100% of everything. So
right. And that's why you have bodies and boards and checks and balances.
There's a question. How many schools are in the first and second wards?
Oh wow. Well, you mean like
do we have any open schools? Probably not.
Let's see, what's in the first ward?
It used to be Pearson,
I'm going around Wilkins.
Okay, you have Brownell and Holmes.
Brownell and Holmes are there, right?
Second ward used to be Civic Park.
Civic Park. What is that? Murrow. Garfield was that's fifth ward, third ward.
So there's none.
No, not that I could think of right off the top of my head, and it really ain't that much
on the north side.
Yeah.
That's a problem. I mean, that's.
Don't forget about Door Rider.
That's fifth ward.
Right. So but it's still technically north side.
North of the
technically north side.
And it's temporarily closed. It's about to
their students are at
Potter.
Yeah, Potter. Okay. Yeah. So we saw a presentation about how Door Rider, the progress is coming along, and from what the contractors say, they should be open and ready for students at the end of June. So hopefully we're able
to. Writers had problems for a long time. That was like ground zero when they were testing the water and stuff.
Yeah, well, from what we saw, it's coming along very well. We're gonna be very pleased with what the outcome is from what we can see.
That's good.
Yeah, that'll be real good because we need that. We need that.
You right there with River Village, with the new apartments across the street,
right there,
with University Park Estates, with
that was
Village,
one of the That's why we were excited when we put that housing across the street from Doyle Ryder because it was like right there. They just have to go across the street.
That's what I'm talking about. You have some, and then if you then going back toward downtown, you have the kids living where the YW used to be. There's enough kids in that area to support that school.
Exactly. Yep. That's how I see it. That's exactly how I see it.
What is it that you want people to know? Because like you said, there's a whole lot of rumors and misinformation out there about what's going on in the schools.
Here's the thing. I would like people to know, especially with me. I can only speak for, I can speak for myself, but I can speak on behalf of the other, and wait, let me stop real quick. There's an obvious divide in the board. I mean, we can sit here and act like there's not. We can play like there's not, but there is, and I don't like that. But when we first came on, there were some actions taken and things said that let me know that that's the direction that we were going to be in. So even before we got sworn in, there were things that were said and done that led me to believe that it was going to be a difficult task. I'm trying my best as a president to be impartial, to be fair to everyone. I'm trying my best to give everybody a chance to have a seat, to get their voice heard and get what they want out. It's not as easy as said as done. And then when you're met with all different types of opposition, you know what I mean? It makes it a little bit difficult to even want to do that. It's like if there's something that I would like to see done, and I know that I could call on somebody or call on something, and we can work on it. And then if I go to another side, and I know that they're going to be like, well, no, just because this person wants to bring it up, or just because this is what it is, then it's like, what are we doing? We're spinning our wheels here. Like there's no difference between this board and the last board. The only difference is I've got 4 votes most of the time.
Okay, that's helpful.
It is helpful, but it's not inclusive.
Now, how do you keep people awake at the meetings?
Dr. Weaver. I guess I'm just a boring individual. I guess I don't run the meetings right.
It didn't happen just at the school board meeting. Now we've seen that at council. Come on.
I guess I'm not exciting enough, and I don't host the meetings correctly because there are people that come down there and bash me for trying to keep an orderly meeting. So I'm not sure how we keep people's attention long enough to.
I'm talking about board.
I know.
Okay, I just want.
I saw the picture.
I'm just asking.
I saw the picture.
Okay.
Yeah, I was privileged enough to see the picture. I had a good little chuckle about it, myself, and kept it moving. So, I don't know. I guess we're not exciting enough. We're not talking. Our business isn't important enough to keep everyone's attention. I have no idea. I don't know. That it threw me for a loop. It shocked me to death. But then again, that's just one thing. There's so many different things, that I just don't want to just be out here saying, what I mean? But I just had to get it out here because I'm not intentionally trying to be. I've heard that I'm a bully. I've heard that I've done things wrong. I've heard that, I side with one side and don't side with another side. I've heard that, and it's like, well, you can see that we don't agree on everything. Right. But at the end of the day, we don't disrespect each other.
Exactly.
We don't, we're not rude to each other. We treat each other the way that we would like someone else to treat us.
Right.
We can't say that for the other side. I cannot say that with confidence from the other side. Okay. And I'm not bashing, I'm just speaking the truth.
Well, we see that.
So I just want I wanted that to be said. I wanted to put that on the record because I'm not intentionally trying to be partial to one side of people.
Well, I know we only have a few minutes left, but I've been watching the school board meetings. I haven't caught everyone, right. But I've caught enough to start seeing, some stuff. And I don't think you're a bully. I think you're trying to keep the meetings flowing. And I know that previous to you coming on the board, there were the conversations around the settlement with Dr. Green, and then you guys came, and then what everything that happened about the legal fees and all of that stuff. But then I was a little bit disappointed when the conversation about the backpacks came up, and then it's, well, how much did we pay for Dr. Green? And to me, when we're talking about the backpacks, we're talking about the fact that
we're talking about safety.
I have nieces, nephews, grandkids, and when we send them to school, I want them to come home.
And you know what?
I want you as a teacher to come home.
Right. And I think about that because what I'm going to talk about was when I was over at Buell, and I was over mental health services at Buell, and I think about if we had a clear back.
Oh, back when
when Kayla, he brought a gun home. He was in first grade. Yeah. And that was a tragedy. And not only was it related to a backpack, would we have been able to see it, but it also makes me think about what are you all doing around mental health.
Now, there has been a particular board member, Melody Rutherford, and that's her thing. She's mentioned that a couple of times. So, I'll let her go down that road. And, but she's very thorough. So, whatever, when she when she wants something, she goes after it, and she's very thorough. She's very good at what she does. So that's her lane.
Okay, the mental health piece.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, I'm just glad it's being looked at because it was beginning to be. It's always been a gap in service anyway in our community, and as you see. You see school social workers that are split between 4 and 5. We don't have any schools to be split between anymore, though. But well, we don't.
In the
But
day, everybody
it
had
was
their
split.
own. Or
Right, you had a school social worker, you had a psychologist that went in to do evaluations and testing, and you don't see that, and they're all split and splintered, which is. It's a disservice to the kids. It's a disservice because it puts an extra burden and strain on the teacher, and it's just a disservice. And I just am glad to see that we're at least attempting to address that because this is still a traumatized community,
Right.
A traumatized community, and so we have to do something about that.
Right. So one thing that I do want to do is I want to make sure that the teachers know that we have their back.
Yeah.
Like I really want them to know that. So there's one of the teachers came down to one of our meetings and said that there's a particular board member that has police security, just to think about the teachers that are in the district, because she's had to put her body in between parents that have come up to a school to fight a student or another parent. And again, if you worked in this field like I have for 19 years, and I've had to do that same thing. You know what I mean? Right. Nobody wants to go home and go home beat up, or go home and have to go to the emergency room. And I've had to do it a couple times. But that's just one of the things. We are not above the people the people in the district. We are of the people in the district. Well, I know I am. I've worked in the district for a number of years. You know what I mean? We can't be receiving special treatment and leave the teachers high and dry, or leave the scholars high and dry, or leave the principals high and dry. You know what I mean? If we have certain security measures, that should be offered around the board, around the district, so to speak. I meant around the board as a whole, but around the district. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna go a step further. I came here today after I went over to Southwestern, and I went over to Southwestern. I was let in. I wasn't asked to walk through the metal detector. I wasn't asked to take any objects out of my pocket. I actually went to take my phone and my keys out, and the security guard actually said, "No, you good." I didn't tell her who I was. I didn't tell her, my position or anything. I just said, she asked me who I'm here to see, and I said, "I'm just here to visit." So, in my mind, that's not the way that you are supposed to enter a school. Just so happened I'm dressed like this, and I'm not, dressed professionally as I normally would be. So I'm not sure what the deal with that was, but normally when you go into a school, you have to, check in. You have to, get walk through a metal detector, possibly get one down, sign, then get a visitor's pass, go to the office and state the reason why you come in and who you come to see. Right. So when we talk about the district as a whole, there's some things that we got to, the whole. Everything has to change. The attitude has to change. Everything has to change. And that has to start from the top and work its way down. That's the way I feel it.
Well, we just got a question. We're getting text
questions. I know.
And everything. Go ahead.
Oh, and let me say who. Can I say who it's from? And then you do the question. Okay. Let me just say this. I know this is a little diversion. This is from Tanya Burns. So let's clear that up. Councilwoman Tanya Burns. Because people will say, "Where's Tanya Burns on Black Money Matters?" Because Tanya's busy doing things. So you all put those rumors to bed that we aren't friends with Tanya Burns and all. Okay, I'm sorry.
So Tanya is our co-host, and we had a hiatus, for a minute, and so when we came back, Tanya hasn't been on any of the shows because she's been busy over scheduling them, and so we wanted to make sure everybody knew that Tanya is still part of the team.
Okay.
But she has a question. She has two questions.
Oh, she's putting her glasses on.
I'm trying to. She said, "What?"
Councilwoman, what you got up?
I know.
She said, "What is the district?" I'll read them together. She says, "What is the district doing to attract and retain students? Hammy has 75% of their students live in Flint. Is there a focus to attract these students back?"
Well, this is something that I just happened to ask about a couple weeks ago. Well, last week, and I don't want to come on here just bashing our district and bashing, but there are some things that need to be changed. One, the website. Our district website is
It needs to be upgraded.
it definitely needs to be upgraded.
Mhm.
Again, just prime example. I was over at Southwestern, and one of the teachers told me, she said, "Look, we're not even on the school website. We don't even have pictures on the website. You don't even know who the teachers are. So for one, well, not for one. That's one thing. We need to upgrade the website and get it, and have current factual information that's on the website. For two, I'm thinking, we need to do some fun things to attract the kids, and we need to have some progressive things to go on to attract the parents.
Right.
You know what I mean? Some attractive things for the parents to make them want to come back to at least see what we're talking about.
Have kids saying, I want to go to Southwestern because they got this program.
They got this,
like we used to have.
Well, see, that was my question. Are we bringing any of the trades back into the schools? I mean, you could walk out and we had auto mechanics, you had wood shop. I mean, you had those kinds of things, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. No, they have. Our former skill center is was it GLI or GCI? I forget the exact acronym, but that is available. But it's not necessarily taken advantage of by our students.
I was gonna say, but it used to be in the actual school building. You could still go to skill center,
right?
Because you were getting extra when you went to
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And we knew if you went down that hall, you were going to one of the trade classes because they were. I mean, they were there.
They were fun.
They were fun. And you walked out of there with a skill that you could use wherever you went in this country. And then we go through a water crisis, and we're not through it. So let me not. I don't mean to say it like we went through it, but when we were there, we couldn't find people that had these skills.
Yep.
And they used to be right in our schools, right in our building, and in addition to the skill center.
Yep. No, this is a Michael Clack thing, something that I would like to see. I cannot speak on behalf of all 7 board members of the district, but I would like to see something like that done at a Flint Northwestern High School. Or Flint Northern, or something.
Where the driving range is.
Where the driving range
right.
is.
That's where I took driver's training at Northwestern.
Right. And I would like to see that. Now, I can't, again, I don't want to speak for everyone and speak on behalf of the district, but these are things that I would like to see. And again, I'm a part of a team. I don't like to say I too much because there's no I in team, but there is an I in Flint,
right?
And there is an I in Child, and that's, I would like to see something happen along those lines. That's what I would like to see, along with redoing the stadium and the track and the drivers training range, and have some basketball programs, or the summer league basketball, or even Canusa back the way it used to be. I heard that they're trying to privatize Canusa now, and it's just a lot, a lot going on that we had when we were students in the district. That now even pump, pass, and kick. You know what I mean? They used to have pump, pass, and kick that we used to have. It's just a lot of stuff, a lot of programs that we used to have, that we were used to having, that they just don't have anymore. So I'm interested. I would like to see some of those programs.
And I think a lot of people would. I think a lot of people would like to see that when you talk about what do you need to do to keep students, what do you need to do to bring students, and those are things that are missing. So I don't know.
So I just want to, whenever y'all want me to come back.
We have a part 2 because part 2 is with you, and we
won't tell, but we about
we have a part 2.
Yeah, I forgot about that. You did ask me about that.
That's right.
Right. Have you already made that contact?
Yeah, we made that contact. Okay. So all we have to do now is coordinate schedules.
Okay.
You all schedule.
Yeah.
Cool. Right.
And if we have to do a special time again, we will do a special time.
I'm here.
So before we go though, is there something that we didn't ask that you wish we had asked? Is there something you want?
Let me see. I think we pretty much touched a lot. I might have gone a little bit too far to the negative, which that's not me.
I don't think it was negative. It was presenting the information.
Presenting information the way the information is.
Okay.
But we gotta be transparent. We can't sugarcoat stuff.
And again, accountability and transparency. is what, you know, I can promise as a board member while I'm here. I can promise that, you know, that the other three that I came in with, that's how they have said that that's what they ran on. That's what we all ran on, was accountability and transparency. You know, and I'm not taking, this is not a swipe at the other, you know, the other three board members. I just know who I ran with and I know what we ran on. So I'm not, you know, this is not any.
And you all ran on transparency and accountability.
New schools, bringing students back to the district. There's a lot of things that we were running on, but those are just two of the different things, you know.
Yeah, I know, and I'm glad to hear that, because I know I have a neighbor that left. He left. He said he'd had a negative experience.
Of course.
And had two little school-age children. So I just, you know, so I'm glad to hear that.
Right.
Can you remind people, when are the school board meetings again?
Second and third Wednesday. So
And
next we've got March 8th and I think the 15th.
Okay.
I think, but you can, you know, there's a lot of things going on in my
second
mind
and
right
third,
now. So you guys can check the website or whatever it is.
And if you can't come in person, where do you
You
log
can go on YouTube.
on
You can
YouTube?
Flint Community Schools on YouTube. Yeah, you can watch their normally live stream. Yeah, so I implore everybody to watch. If you can make it down, come out and make it out. Support is not just supporting the board. It's not supporting us. It's supporting the scholars of the district.
Right.
The things that that's what I'm about. I'm about the scholars of the district. It has nothing to do with Michael Clack. I'm just a person in this seat. This could also be Dylan Luna. This could also be Melody Rutherford. This could also be Teray King. I just happen to be here right now, and while I'm here, I'm gonna make the best of it. We are here for the scholars, and that's what I can say with all confidence.
I like that.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Mike,
thank you,
Mr.
Mr.
President.
President.
You.
And
Thanks
you
for
have
having
you.
me.
I've been watching too. I told him one time. I said, "Oh, you make us so proud." Really.
appreciate
I mean, because we need, you know, calmness.
It's hard.
It's hard.
It is not
but we
easy to
need
sit up there and
some.
be calm when you hear some of the comments that are being made on the
Right.
side, and
It'll
you see some of the things,
set
and it's
you
like, wait a
up.
minute, if I was in the streets, I'd be like, who you think you're talking to? Like, what you mean? We can go, like, wait, you're not gonna talk about her, like, but you know, and I know one of the biggest things that I'm trying to get over is my facial expressions, because I can
I'm
sit
not
there and I
good
know
with
my
that.
facial expressions. I'll be
It
like,
tells
you know,
everything.
you know, so
Yeah.
so
I'm real bad.
But it's been you've been doing a good job.
I appreciate it. Thank
And I hope people will come and remember that it's about the scholars.
you. Yes.
And we want to bring more
Supporting our kids,
and
supporting
supporting
our teachers.
that's
supporting
exactly
our
right,
community.
Jameca. Mental health.
Mental
You know, I'm
health.
gonna say that. Get some mental health. And we are gonna have part 2. We're gonna have part 2 with a special guest when we have the president
More
back.
special guests.
No, we have two special
We're
guests.
gonna
That's
have
gonna
2
be
special
fun.
guests, and that will be fun. And I just want to, before we sign off, remind people to tune in at 4:00 for Bill Cobb's On the Record here on 810 News Media. And
Thank you for joining us.
thank you for joining us
for
for
another episode of
Black Money
Money
Matters.
Matters.
And
Thank y'all. Thank you for having me.
thanks for coming. Thank you.
No
We
problem.
appreciate it. We look forward to many more conversations. All
Yes,
right.
ma'am.
Have a